Petya is from the International Monetary Fund. Now, Petya, our correspondent called it guesswork, but you've presented a range of forecasts. Nearly all countries were hit with downgrades. So what would improve the outlook and what would make it worse?
Well, what would make the outlook better is having clarity and cooperation and having a trade system that is stable and predictable. At this point, uncertainty is playing a big role in the downgrade and making it more difficult for firms to invest and for consumers to spend. So reducing that uncertainty would certainly be helpful. And then, of course, what would make it worse? We have a long list of things there, but further escalation in the trade tensions and further increase in uncertainty would certainly go in that direction.
What those trade tensions between the US and China will have spillover effects around the world. But you say the risks to growth remain even if tariff reduction deals are struck.
Indeed, and we do show a scenario in which there is a pause in the tariffs on a permanent basis for all other countries, and with the only tariffs remaining being the ones that had escalated further between China and the US. And in that scenario, the global growth number looks very similar than what it is in our reference forecast. And a key reason for that is precisely that uncertainty that I was referring to. If people don't know what comes next, it's very hard to hire people or to make any investments.
But also in the report is the squeeze on foreign aid. I mean, what kind of extra pressure does that put on low-income countries?
That certainly makes it more difficult for low-income countries that are already faced with a lower external demand and generally more difficult financing conditions. So the cuts in aid could push some of these countries further into debt or make it more necessary to have fiscal adjustment, which would have an immediate impact on growth and on living standards.
You mentioned that uncertainty around hiring and around the workforce. Look, the cost of living crisis lingers in many places around the world. The workforce is shrinking as populations are getting older. Is anyone paying close enough attention to all of that?
Well, this is certainly something that we've been pointing to and trying to draw attention to, that the demographics are playing a huge role in the slowdown in growth in the medium term. And one of the chapters in our report this time around is actually about the healthy aging, the rise of the silver economy, and to what extent that could actually help and mitigate some of those pressures from demographics.
Petya, Koeva, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.